at 1 p.m. on April 9th, 2021. First order of business on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next item on the agenda is approval of the minutes of the April 5th meeting. All right, yeah, anyone have any additions or corrections?
No,
Hearing none, the minutes of the April 5th meeting are approved. The next two items are approved revised disclosure forms and changes in the rules of procedure. How do you want to, we don't have we had a draft of the forms for the appointed officials and employees, but we haven't seen a draft of the elected officials yet. I guess both Ingrid and Mike, how do you want to proceed? Can we just approve them in principle? Or do we have to physically see the forms?
I don't have a problem approving them in principle.
I don't either. I mean, we're basically, they're basically the same forms as we had before with some slight modifications to allow the additional real estate and then with electronic signature. So,
Yeah.
I don't see any potential for major problems,
And
All
I
right.
mean, all of these are kind of proving to be living documents anyway. I'm sure we'll take another crack at it and find some other stuff as we go. So
Yep.
Absolutely.
that'll be fine.
Okay. All those in favor of approving the disclosure forms as they are presented at the April 5th meeting for the appointed officials and employees, and with the similar changes being made to the elected officials forms, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. Okay, great. Next item is the rules of procedure. I circulated about a half hour ago another copy of what had been circulated 4 or 5 months ago, I guess. On section 4, begins on page 2 and goes on to page 3. There are several proposed changes. Should I go over them one by one?
Can I do have some just of the, well, there's one global change that, we've talked about in other documents as well, changing financial to public disclosure.
Yep, I had missed that.
So, there's one of those in 1 and one of those in 2, one of those in 3. And on 3.2, the commission should be capitalized there, where we say the commission will approve.
Yeah.
And then in 4, the second line, we say, okay, if during the review process an apparent violation of the conflict of interest article is identified, the disclosure form will be brought to the attention of the full commission. And then we, of course, we got another public disclosure in A as opposed to financial. Same with B, we say the filer of the public disclosure form. Then down in 5, we say for public disclosures.
Oh,
So we
okay.
then add made by
Looking at-
candidate for election, blah, 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 blah,
Yeah.
blah. Then we say to appear on the, should we say town council election ballot?
Okay,
And then a little bit further down, we have a new sentence where we say the commission being capitalized. And then some of this is just semantics, just
Okay.
proposed, the next sentence we say, or the same sentence, the commission will acknowledge receipt by email within 2, I was gonna say business days as opposed to work days.
Mhm.
The confirmation notice will tell the filer, again, proposed, whether we want to change it, that's up to you. The filer of when the commission capitalized intends to complete its initial review. Any notice of deficiency will tell, is it we will tell the candidate, wait a minute. Any notice of deficiency will tell the candidate.
the notice will tell.
Okay, any notice of deficiency will tell the candidate the deadline for making the required corrections.
Okay, having heard
So-
that, let's go through them one by one. First proposal is that everywhere in section 4, Roman number 4, where it says financial disclosure, that be changed to public disclosure. Does anyone have any objection to that?
No.
No,
All right, let's make, those in favor of making that change indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
aye,
Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. Secondly, every place where the word commission appears, it would be changed so that it's capitalized. Anyone have any discussion of that proposal?
No.
no,
Are those in favor of changing small letter commission to capital letter commission indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
aye,
Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. In section of Arabic number 4, the second line starts, identified that disclosure will be brought. Those in favor of adding proposal is to add the word form between disclosure and will. Does anyone have any objection to that or any discussion?
No.
no,
Those in favor of adding the word form to the second line of section 4 between disclosure and will indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
aye,
Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. In section 5, it's suggested that the second word, which is disclosure, be changed to the plural disclosures. Any discussion?
no,
Okay, those in favor of making that, of changing disclosure to disclosures indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. On the second line of section 5, we have the phrase to appear on the council election ballot. The proposal is to insert the word town, I assume capitalized,
yes,
before the word council. Any discussion of that?
no,
All right, those in favor of adding the word town before the word council on the second line of section 5 indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
aye,
Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. On the sixth line of section 5, the line begins within 2 work days. It's been suggested that we change work to business. So it says within 2 business days. Any discussion of that suggestion?
No.
no,
All in favor of changing the word work to business on the 6th line of section 5 indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
aye,
Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. And on the same line, begins, the confirmation notice will tell the submitter of when the commission intends. Suggestion is to change submitter to filer. Any discussion of that proposal?
No.
All right, those in favor of changing the word submitter to filer on the 6th line of section 5 indicate by saying aye.
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 Those opposed, no, the ayes have it. And on the next to last line of section 5, a sentence begins, any notice of deficiencies will tell, suggestions to change deficiencies to the singular to make it deficiency. Any discussion of that?
No.
All right, those in favor of changing the word deficiencies to deficiency on the next to the last line of section 5 indicate by saying aye.
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 Those opposed, no, the ayes have it. All right, with those changes, we now go through the substantive material?
Yep.
All right, first is to eliminate from section 1 the references to time limits for reviewing disclosures by candidates. Given the advice of the Elections Commission that nothing we do as far as finding defects will have any effect on whether the Elections Commission will allow somebody to run.
Right.
Any discussion beyond that?
No.
Okay, those in favor of striking the second sentence of section 1 indicate by saying aye.
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 Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. Section 2, partly editorial, partly substantive, is currently our current rules say that we must determine whether there's a disclosure that appears to have the potential to be a conflict of interest. And then in addition, that we review to see if it's facially complete. The suggestion is to rewrite the second part, the facial completeness. And that's just editorial. The other is to eliminate the requirement that what it currently seems to say is it's not a complete submission if we find that there's evidence of a conflict of interest. And I'm suggesting we eliminate that because that's a different issue. We will act on potential conflicts of interest, but it's the first step is simply did the person actually fill out the form? Any discussion?
I had a quick question. Do we want that phrase that comes after the IE to be in italics
No,
right now?
no, you're
Okay.
right. Hold on. What was I trying to do? I think that was supposed to be, additions are supposed to be in bold. That was just a mistake.
Okay.
So change italic to bold.
Phil, can I ask you why you put that last, the disclosure is signed under penalty? Do we need that, or is that just an emphasis, or?
I think, and I think it's in our proposed changes to the ordinance as well.
Okay.
Two things. One is that every form either say no or you provide the information. The
Mhm.
second thing is that there be a signature page that says, I swear to, under penalty of perjury, that this is all true and complete. And without that, we can't. Okay, that's the answer to that question. All right, those in, any discussion of eliminating what the second sentence of section 1 indicate by, any discussion?
No,
All right, so all those in favor of eliminating second sentence of section 1 indicate by saying aye.
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 Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. In section 2, any discussion of eliminating the phrase indicating we will review the forms for any disclosure that appears to have the potential to be or have the potential to appear to be a conflict of interest. Any discussion of eliminating that requirement?
No.
No,
All right, those in favor of eliminating that requirement indicate by saying aye.
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 All right, those opposed, no. Also in section 2, first, there are words that are italicized. Any objection to changing those italicized words to bolded,
No.
indicating it's new language?
No.
No,
Those in favor of changing italic to bold for that material indicate by saying aye.
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 Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. Also in section 2, there is on the draft in front of us, some clauses which are struck out and apparently to be replaced by the newly bolded language. So I guess the proposal, is any discussion of that?
No,
Substitute? Okay. Those in favor of striking out the material which on our draft is shown struck out and replacing it with the language which is at the end, it is now bolded. Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. Okay, next section says explicitly, currently it says explicitly that we do not approve as complete any disclosure that has any disclosure that discloses an apparent violation of the conflict of interest article. The proposal is to eliminate that second requirement for our review. Any discussion of that?
No.
No,
All right. Those in favor of striking I'll read it. The phrase is, and discloses no apparent violation of provisions of the conflict of interest article of the ethics ordinance, unquote, indicate by saying aye.
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 Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. Next substantive change is paragraph 5. There's proposed to be added at the end of the current provision, the following, I'll read it into the record. When the forms are distributed to the candidates, they will be informed of the deadline for submission and the place of submission. The commission will acknowledge receipt by email within 2 business days. The confirmation notice will tell the filer of when the commission intends to complete its initial review. Any notice of deficiency will tell the candidate the deadline for making the required corrections. Any discussion of that?
One thing, Phil, since most of the forms are going to be electronically available, do we need to say when the forms or the website for the disclosure?
Yeah, let's see. Yeah, this is written as if
was all-
we're getting paper copy.
Or do we say someplace that forms, also means the website where the forms are? Or
Or how about when the forms are made available to the candidates And
Yeah.
that could be either hard copy or on the website.
So there's a couple of issues. One is, right now it says when the forms are distributed to the candidates. And Ingrid is suggesting when the forms are made available.
Made available.
Yeah, I think that's a good.
Hold on a second. Any further discussion of that point?
No.
All right, those in favor of changing from the current draft, when the forms are distributed to the candidates, to when the forms are made available to the candidates? Those in favor of making that change indicate by saying aye.
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 Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. All right. I guess in practice, when somebody submits it on the website, the next sentence, I guess it's clear enough that says within 2 workdays, we will send an email to each person.
Right.
Okay. And that confirmation, will, I guess what we'll tell them when we intend to complete the initial review. And that's something we could decide now or fairly, in April, later April. We set a deadline of, 5 days or 10 days or whatever. We can say, that here's when we're going to complete our initial review.
Okay.
Do you want to do that now?
Yeah, we might as well.
That's fine.
All right, actually, so hold on to my last thought to do that now. Let's vote on the bolded language in paragraph 5 as amended. Those in favor of adopting that, the change that's bolded with the amendment regarding make available, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. Is there a motion to set a time limit on our initial review? And set a time limit.
Yeah, I make a motion to make it 10 business days.
10 business days?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no, yeah, all right, I don't, well, Ingrid, what do you think?
That sounds okay.
Yeah, I mean, there's no deadline, if we do it faster, that's fine. All right, any further discussion of the motion to establish a deadline for ourselves of completing the review of all submissions within 10 business days of their submission being made? Hearing none, hearing no discussion, all in favor of adopting a deadline for 2021 of our initial review being completed within 10 business days of the submission of the disclosure, indicate by saying aye.
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 Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. All right, we have something else has come up which is not on the agenda. We received today a memo from the mayor. Obviously, none of us has had a chance to completely review it. I think there's been some email that indicates that this is a request for an advisory opinion. My initial reaction is that an advisory opinion is a request to know if something is done in the future, whether there'd be a violation. This, on the face of it, seems more of a complaint of that a violation occurred in the past. But in any event, I'm going to suggest that we schedule a meeting to at least initially review what we've received from the mayor. I do recall that in an earlier case, after an initial review, we sent a message to the complainer asking for a clarification as to what section of the ethics ordinance each of the alleged facts would violate. I don't want to decide that now, but I think that's something we ought to keep in mind. Yeah, because, yeah, and again, I mean, there may be, just theoretically, let's say that it's illegal to conduct for pay fossil hunting tours on Brownies Beach or near there. That may well be something which is nothing whatsoever to do with the ethics ordinance, or to be pursued as a violation of the town's, regulations.
So Phil, who was asking for the advisory opinion?
Nobody, I think when I think the town staff forwarded us another copy, because the first copy didn't seem to go through. I think it was headed.
Oh, from Holly.
Yeah. But that's, not binding on any, that's a headline on email. The real
Okay.
question we can decide. Don't have Fred here, but we're not gonna make any decision. I think we'll ask his opinion as to at a meeting when we consider this, whether it should be, what's the phrase? Business session or closed session?
Mhm.
Right, yeah.
One of the things, it sounds like that person of interest has resigned their position.
Yeah, that may make,
So, I mean, as far as, urgency, there's not a great deal of urgency, I think.
that's a good point.
Wasn't this the guy who ran for town council?
Believe so.
So it's funny that, now he can't devote time and dedication to planning and zoning, but he ran for council, which is even more time consuming. That doesn't make a lot of sense, does it?
I think things change. I do want, and this is not deep legal research. It appears from what was submitted to us that the guy was not renting out his whole house for a week or two.
Right.
It was the old-fashioned B&B, a bedroom and bathroom. And that may or may not have an impact on whether it's a quote short-term rental or not. Because my general reading is that issue was whether people could continue to or could in the future, as I know has happened in other cases, people actually bought a house with no purpose other than to rent it out through Airbnb.
Yep.
I think that's what some members of the public were objecting to. Anyhow, so there'll be legal issues of perhaps if we do have to pursue it, of whether this even has the short-term rental
Well,
provisions.
what is the town's current stance on that? Was that one of our questions on the ballot? I can't remember. I know we had a couple questions regarding gambling and various forms of gambling, table games, etc. Was the short-term rental also a question, or maybe I'm getting confused? Because I know this has been a topic of discussion.
They had a meet.
But what's been resolved?
Yeah, there was a meeting about 2 months ago, 3 months ago. They
Yeah.
asked for a comment, and then the planning and zoning basically had a hearing on it. I think they made some preliminary recommendations, but it's still under consideration, planning and zoning. Now, the question I would have, since he was already kind of biased at that point in time and he voted on those issues,
Yeah.
does that have an impact on the planning and zoning's?
Right. But here, then again, it's not to decide anything. If he had been renting out his whole house through Airbnb or anybody else, then Mike, what you just said, is a very important question.
Right.
But if he wasn't, if he was operating what is described in the town code as a bed and breakfast, that
Right.
is, the owner occupies the building and rents out a bedroom or so, then it may be, if the only public issue was the short-term rental of an entire building, then he had no stake.
Okay.
The
So
other thing
it kind of comes down to how is the town defining short-term rental? Does it have to be a whole property or can it just be a portion of a property? I
Yeah.
don't know how they're defining it.
that'll be an issue. I mean, their claim, or the mayor's claim, no, I take that back. Yeah, the issue will be that, I mean, that will be an issue, whether there's a separate provision governing bed and breakfast use. And if so, is that different from the sort of rental that requires a license, inspections, the whole thing that we have for rental housing? And let's just get that. We'll have to address that. Perhaps we will. We got to get, we also want to keep ourselves questions whether there's been a violation of the conflict of interest or reporting.
Right.
It's which is different from, did somebody violate, a provision of the town code by doing something which, you could fine $200 or $1,000, but that's something that's done in court. All right, well, that preliminary, let's,
It seems that we need some input from Mr. Evans too, don't we?
yes, well,
Directly from him?
I'm not sure. I think, what I'd like to do, yeah, let me circulate a draft of questions which might go to the complainer or the respondent or both.
Okay.
And those answers may, as has happened in the past, lead us to not even have to open a case.
Okay.
So Ingrid, this is your busy time,
Yes, it
but
is
we are
indeed.
talking about short meetings.
Yeah, that's fine.
Ingrid, didn't your time get extended to the 15th of May now?
The 17th of May, but we
Okay.
still have estimated taxes due next week. So
Is
we
that
still
right?
have to do the returns
Uh-huh.
to figure out the estimated taxes. So we
Oh.
sort of got a reprieve, but we sort of didn't.
Gotcha.
Just to make things a little more confused
Yeah.
and complicated in an already hairy season.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right. Well, how about next Friday?
I'm going to be out of the office next Friday up in Baltimore.
How about
Work.
next Thursday?
Thursday's fine for me.
Yeah.
Okay. Where we are in agenda is schedule the next regular meeting of the commission. Those in favor of scheduling it for Thursday?
Bill?
Yes.
Phil,
Yes,
yeah,
Sharon.
that really doesn't give me any time to advertise.
Yeah.
No, that's
Um,
true.
All right. Well, let's do 2 weeks. What's 2 weeks today?
The 22nd?
That can't be.
Or, wait
Yeah.
a minute, what, the 23rd?
23rd? 23rd, okay with
Friday.
everybody?
That's good with me.
Yes.
All right, all in favor of scheduling our next meeting for April 23rd,
What time, Phil?
1 PM? Any discussion of the time?
It's fine. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Good.
All in favor of scheduling our meeting for April 23rd at 1 PM indicate by saying aye.
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 Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. Any comments by commissioners or anybody else?
No.
No.
All in favor of adjourning indicate by saying aye.
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 Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. Thank you. Talk to you in a
Well,
couple
Thank
weeks.
you.
And
Have a
I'll-
good week.
Yep, have a good one.
Everybody, bye.
Bye.
Bye.